if you're not used to the Chrome Inspector console yet, this can help you save a lot of time. I'm going to show you how to do the this work when you imitate another website very quickly. Go here, control click. When you control click, you get a, where is it? Inspect. Could you raise your hand if you have used this before? Right, so it should be no surprise to some then. You can put it on the right hand side or the left hand side, right, depending on the situation. So in this case, maybe the right is a little bit better. And notice we have a ton of tabs. Only two tabs that you care about right now is the Elements tab and then the Styles tabs on the right hand side here. Yeah, and so maybe this view is easier. If you do it vertically, you see that this style thing is at the bottom. So if you notice, for example, I want to build, take the web background of this board. I just keep going up, click here, go up, up. Do you see the background here? So you can go and just copy the background color. So I have the, this is every list. I go up to the board. Probably this is the color, right? So you can click here and then you can select it. Right? Chrome even give you the, when in this color thing, if you click on the color, it even give you the color picker if you don't have to get it from anywhere else. Okay? So this is when doing it on someone else's website. You can do it on your own. It's also just as easy and fun. But before we go to our own, notice, for example, how does this board work? You click on the thing over here, the inspector over here, and when you click on it, you can select any element. So I'm selecting the whole list. You see that list? When I click this list, then you can see the background color you can imitate, right? And then you can see that, oh, the border radius here is 3 pixels. So you can copy even faster than just looking it by, with your own eyes. And then let's say I look at each list, right? Here's the list card details, and then you can see again, like, the padding and potentially, this is every, it may be a little confusing at first because their structure tend to be a little harder to see, but you see how they have, like, border, bottom, and then there's some extra stuff. So don't copy everything, just use this to improve the understanding of how people style their work, right? Now if I take my own test file, let's see if I can get one local. Okay, so let's say this is my own. As you can see, this is the assignment that you will do. There's not much room there, so I'll use the right hand side. Click on the Elements tab. And then if you want to, for example, some of you want to play with the left and right thing. Left and right, like, how this one is on the right, this one is on the left. So this may be new to some of you, right? Even if you're using the tool. You're like, how do I make it align to the right just like that? Technically, in this case, I even use a form. I'll teach you this form thing later. But here I have a form, and in here I have a learn number is a string, so that's on the left hand side. I have this done, and as you see that I have float right. So you can experiment a little bit more. For example, you're like, float right doesn't look that good yet, margin top. You can start typing here, 1 pixel. And then you can press up or down and then see how things work, right? And then same with margin right, 1 pixel. Start with that and play. When you play with this, then you can stop at the value you want. You can go back and edit your CSS file. Same thing with the color, right? Here, if you want If you want your button to be like, a nicer color, go ahead and just choose the color for yourself. And here it will check the syntax for you. So obviously this console, the styles tab here is immensely powerful. There are a lot of options here. They are in the order of priority. So the top one's the most important. If you click on any element, like I click on the first one here, once again, you select an element here, click this icon, select an element you want. So it's already here, let's say it's here. The first CSS filter here is an element style, so it means you can make changes to only that element, right? Anything after that is, for CSS rule for different classes, but that apply to this element. For example, I have one that is for the button. I have another one is for the class of this button. So you can remember all the CSS rules just sort of merge. But if there's any conflict, the one at the top takes precedence. So, any question about the rules? Sometimes you set some rules and then you're like, why doesn't it do what I want? Without this Chrome Inspector console, it becomes pretty difficult to know. If you set a button down here, for example, to be color blue, right, in your code, and then you see everything else got blue, but this one is red, and you don't know why. You open the Inspector console and you see this color blue is crossed out. That's because up here there's something more important that's already using it. This is super fun, right? Not just the style. Now look at the right hand side. There's so much learning we can take for any of these elements. You click on the button here, and then you look at the right hand side. I set the margin top and right to be -2 pixels. You see it? -2 is a bit weird. Like you use minus if you really want to move something up, right? Margin is like by default is 0. So let's say I remove this. Remove, you see you can remove by unchecking it, right? But you see here with this element, I can see how many pixels, right, are taken for the margin. There's sometimes 1 pixel for the border. That's why when you put some elements next to each other, you're like, why does it look a little to the left? Just a little, because it has 1 pixel. The border is on the left is 1 pixel. The border on the right is 1 pixel. So it's actually taking up 2 pixels. So you can use this one and do the calculation if you like, but usually look at the margin, the padding, right? And the numbers here is the width itself, right? It's not proportional. So don't think that, oh, this thing is bigger than this thing. No, they all same sort of vertical space. They just have different numbers. So inside the done button, I have the padding 2 at the top, 3 at the bottom, and 6 to the left and 6 to the right. So with that, then you can play along. For example, I do padding 0. Then you see that the stuff here become a dash. Dash here means 0. There's no padding, right? One more time, I do 1 pixel here, and then I can increase extra padding. You can see how the elements have this relationship with one another. Okay, so the padding get increased. So when you play it with your own code, the cool thing is if you refresh, everything goes away. But if you like what you did, then you can copy and put it back into your CSS. Okay? Any question? Yes, you can. You can read more about it, but right now, if you do it, it's more trouble. You may save some unintended changes. It's more trouble than it's worth. But Chrome allows you to save the changes if you're editing the files on your own computer. It even has the setting if you push to the server. But until you really advance, you may want to use it. I just never see any purpose of doing it. If you're good, you go to the text editor and make changes, right? Make changes here is all just to test how things are. If you depend on the browser to make all these changes, you're doing it wrong. Yeah? If you need to make basically 20 different changes on the browser, and then you say, hey browser, save it to me, right? Save it for me. That's just wrong. Try one change, you like it, go back to your CSS, save it, reload the browser, work on the next thing. Right? There are some great websites to learn from. Are you asking for some good examples? I mean, any website that looks beautiful, you can just go there. You go to Airbnb, go to Pinterest. Trello is pretty beautiful. Right? So then you can click on them and see how they deal with the CSS. Okay? You see that, for example, here, the way I do it, I have a class done or undone for the item. You can learn how people create class names for different HTML elements. Okay, so enjoy using these tools to finish your milestone C. You can call your product something other than Trello. Cool.